And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with the Game Boy Geek.
Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we're going to be going all the way to New York City, onto Wall Street, hanging out with the bulls and the bears. We're going to be trading stocks and buying stocks and selling stocks in a frenzy. We're trying to make it rain with money here, and we're going to be doing so using some of our own speculation. This is a new Essen release here, 2013, designed by Dirk Henn, by Queen Games published. And it's sort of a reprint from an older game. I think it came out in '92, and Dirk sort of polished some of the rules, changed some things, the artwork, all redone. So we're going to be doing all of this, having fun. It's essentially 3 to 6 players, ages 10 and up. Takes anywhere from an hour, maybe a little more. And we're going to be checking this out to see if the new version, what it brings, and what does this look like. Is this something that you should be owning? Let's take a look. I'll show you how to play it. I'll meet you on the other side. In speculation, you're going to be buying and selling stocks as they go through this stock market in time until the game finally ends. Everyone starts the game with $20 and a random, one of the random stocks. There's 8 stocks in the game, and you pull it out of a bag to start the game. And you'll notice that all 8 stocks, I think, are all Queen Games, and most of them are actually designed by Dirk Henn, who's the one that designed this game. You have Metro and Shogun and Show Manager, Timbuktu, Colonia, Carrot, Alhambra, and Ektorp. And of course, they do different things like Carrot's oil, Shogun's electronics, Show Manager's events. They're kind of thematic and cool. How a turn works is you're going to pull out one tile from a event bag and one from a numbered bag. I'm also told that these bags are kind of different depending on your game. They're just random, so it's kind of cool that you get your own little bag set here. So you pull one out from each, and we'll see what you do on your turn. So let's say pull out of the bag is we have, in the first turn it always has to be this, which is a trade, and we have the number 4. So starting with that starting player, they get to spend, and at the beginning, all the stocks start pretty much in space 0, and they're all worth $20. So if you remember, you start with $20, they would trade, which means when you have a trade action, you can do one of the following. You can buy one stock, you can sell one stock, you can buy and sell one stock, or you could do nothing. You can never do more than that. So in this case, it's a trade action. Nobody has, they could sell one of their stocks for $20, but in this case, we just want to buy. So maybe they buy, Timbuktu for $20. They spend the $20, and they're given one of these Timbuktu stocks, and they put it in front of them. So if you remember, I started with Show Manager, and now I have Timbuktu. Now, there's only as many of these stocks as one less than how many players. So if we're playing with 4 people, there's only 3 of any of these in the game at any one time. So it does make them quite scarce. So everybody would go around the table in clockwise manner and do a trade action. Then we go to the number action, and this shows a number 4. So at this time, everybody's been given a bunch of cards. The same 9 cards, one for each stock and one extra one, is given to every single person, the same 9 cards, and essentially you shuffle them at the beginning of the game, and you essentially have your own deck of 9 cards that are here. At the beginning of every round, you're going to pick up the top 2 cards and put them in your hand. This actually happens before any of the trade actions happen that we showed you, and you're going to look at them. In this case, I have Ektorp or Timbuktu. So at the beginning of the round, I already know that one of the 2 cards that I'm going to be able to play is Ektorp or Timbuktu. Well, I knew that before the trade action happened, which is why I bought Timbuktu. So everybody at the same time simultaneously is going to take one of the 2 cards that they have, and they're going to place it face down. Once everybody's cards are face down, they then reveal them up like this. So let's say all 4 are there, we reveal them, and these are the 4 different stocks that are going to be moving up 4 empty spaces. Now let's say this was the order in which clockwise, this was the start player, next, first and last in clockwise order from start player. Start players would move first, it would go up 4 empty spaces. So Shogun would go 1, 2, 3, 4. Timbuktu would then go 1, 2, 3, 4, because you're only counting empty spaces. Colonial would go 1, 2, 3, 4. And Carrot Oil would go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, how we look at this is we see we're on this white row here. And on the board here, we see 1st to 8th place in this line. So right now, Shogun is the 4th ranked, and it's now $70. Where Timbuktu's the 3rd ranked, and it's $80. Colonial's the 2nd, $90. Carrot is 1, it's $100. So you can see that I had just bought Timbuktu for $20. And it just moved up to third spot, which is 80. So I just made 60 bucks theoretically right now. I haven't been able to trade it and get my money out of it yet. But, you know, eventually I've made $60 virtually there right now, just in that one move. Now I did that because I remembered I had one of these two cards to think of that I knew I could play. And so that was the one that I bought to kind of knowing that I could manipulate this. Then everyone takes the card they played and make a discard pile for it. And then they pick up the two top cards. One of them was the other one that they saw the first turn. The second one's going to be a new piece of information. So the Ektorp was there before, Show Manager was there, and of course as another round goes, I'll select one of these, and then next turn after that, I'll be taking up two cards, one of which I know that is there, and the other one. So that's how you sort of manage your deck and your discard pile. Now, if the tile that was just played last round is a trade, all the tiles that are out go back in the bags. If it's not, you just keep drawing for the next round. Here are the tiles that are in the two bags. The numbered bag simply has one of each, 1 through 6. The action bag has 3 of which, half of them, are trade, and the other ones do something specific. The timer here does nothing. If you pull this out, there's no action to be done. You just go straight to the card playing and the number. The other two, let's talk about these. This one, if you pull this, you can select that person whose turn it is that drew it out of the bag, gets to select any stock and move it up 1 rank. So let's say the board looked like this. If I had Alhambra, let's say I started with it, and I wanted to move this up 1 rank, it would go up 1 rank. So essentially it's going up 1 rank here to the empty spot. However, let's say that's not it. Let's say I was Metro, and I wanted to go up 1 rank. Well, if I go up 1 rank, I can't just pass this because there's a stock here, and a stock here, and a stock here. So when these get clustered together, this can be very powerful, because if I own Metro, I could take this, and moving it up 1 rank moves it all the way to the top, because all those spaces are then stuck. The opposite happens with the -1, which is that person who drew that tile can move something back 1 rank. So if they wanted to move Metro back, it would go like that. Or maybe they wanted to move Colonial back, it would go like that. Now, since everybody's cards, once they're used, goes in their discard pile, and that stays there until all the cards are gone, you can kind of understand which ones have been coming up, which means they're not going to be coming up again until all the piles get shuffled again. So let's say we're in the draw round here where we're doing the number, and let's say the number that was drawn, let's just pull it randomly here, was 5. So we got a 5 here, and so let's say this is what happens. So we have a Shogun, a Bank Holiday, a carrot, and a carrot. Ooh, this likely could happen. Because at the beginning of the round, everybody knew it was going to move 5. And maybe these two people owned in carrot stock, and they thought, wow, I could really move this carrot up 5, because if this had happened, and let's just say without this Bank Holiday, let's say this wasn't there, and let's say there was just another stock here, and let's say the start player was here and the second player was there. This carrot would have gone up 5 empty spaces first, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then for the second player, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would have been huge. But because a Bank Holiday card was played, nothing moves. So if there's 3 or 4 players and even 1 Bank Holiday card is played, nobody moves at all. If there's 5 or 6 players playing and at least 1 Bank Holiday card is played, then things move half the amount that they're supposed to move. So this will continue on for 8 rounds or so, and then after you've played a bunch of cards, at the end you'll have 1 card that you'll play, because every time you've got sort of 2 cards to choose from, but there's 9 cards. So on the 9th round of a sequential order, you'll have 1 card that you'll have to play, and that will be that. And at the end of that round, you shuffle your cards in your deck, and you make a new deck to start the next 9 rounds. And everybody has the same 9 cards, so it's all sort of synced together when everybody's going to shuffle, and all new things can come up, and all the speculation sort of resets. Because otherwise, you can start, if you're a good card counter, you can start to think about what cards have not yet come up, and then buy the ones that you know that are likely to come up next. Now, as you look at the board, you can see that they go from white to gray, from white to gray, from white to gray, and that's because they use these different columns of money depending on what they are. So, for example, if this Metro is now on the gray, its price is now in this box, where all these other ones are in this box. And so as the stocks move further to the end, the numbers change. So you see from scrolling from left to right here, from the earlier rounds to the end, the highest one's 100 at the beginning of the game, but it moves all the way to 325 if it's the first one to get to the very end. But even in the subsequent rounds towards it, they're getting up to big money. And you'll notice some of them are negative amounts. Essentially, that means if you sell there, you lose money. If you buy there, you actually get money for buying it. but as the time goes on, it can continue to go more negative. Once any one stock makes it to the end, you finish that round and then the game ends. You then cash in your stocks for whatever amount they are, where they are on the board, then you add up all your money, and the one who has the most money is the winner. Alright, well there's speculation. I typically like economic games, and I like beautiful artwork and components, and this it checks both those boxes. I must say though, this game has much more randomness than I typically like. I usually like games that have a little bit amount of randomness to kind of even things up, maybe change strategies up a little bit. You're never quite sure exactly what's going to happen. But this game has a lot of randomness. I mean, when you think about it, you're pulling stuff out of a bag. Sure, 50% of the time the tray's going to come, but if you're the one that pulls if it's a new bag, you got 1 out of 6 chance to pull that +1, and you can sometimes move something all the way up past a bunch of them, make a ton of money. That's a decent amount of randomness there. When you have your cards and you can only look at 2 of them and you have to play one of those 2 cards, that's a lot of randomness. But I gotta tell you, I was surprised that even with this much randomness, how much I loved this game, and everybody in our group loved it. We played it all night, multiple times, and the next morning we woke up and called each other, got together and played it again. It's weird. It's got like this, even though you can't control what's going on, it's got this addictive thing to it where you're constantly trying to figure out the game. You're trying to figure out how does the speculation work. It's like, and every once in a while you'll do something great. You'll buy something low. Some events will happen, some that maybe you contributed to, some that maybe that you didn't, but other people did. And you watch that stock rise up, and then you get to trade it and you make a lot of money. And it's like, oh, that feels cool. And it's kind of like this addictive thing. You want to keep doing it. And then I will say that this is one of the games that have probably gotten me more angry playing a game than anything else than I can ever remember. I'm usually pretty even keel, but when you plan with a game with this much randomness, and you, to a T, plan something perfectly, and you get your stock to jump way up, but someone throws that bank holiday card on that round, and you just lost like hundreds of dollars, and you're like, "Urgh!" Like I was steaming, because it happens multiple times sometimes. So yes, there's a lot of randomness in here. But granted, given that, even though you have limited choices, it just seems like it's just enough. It's just enough randomness for this game and what you're trying to do, and thematically it makes sense, because speculation is, hey, I have some information, but I don't have all of it. I'm going to speculate on where things are going to go. I could be right, I could be wrong. There's going to be some dumb luck. So thematically it fits. So people that don't like random games at all probably aren't going to like this at all. And some people that don't like randomness, a decent amount like me, you might want to give this one a try, because I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did, but I loved it. My group loved it. It just has this interesting thing where you're constantly trying to figure things out. You feel like you're playing against the game and against other people. It's hard to explain the feeling you get when you play this game, other than we loved it. So if you like economic games, if you like games, this did a stock market game, which typically is boring, and it made it exciting. So a light game with good decisions, some randomness, some crazy things going on. See if you can fall into this. It's Speculation from Queen Games. Hey, one more thing before you go. If you're about to drop a comment on this YouTube page for this video and you're expecting interaction or a personal response from me, I recommend the place to do that is at my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/thegameboygeek, because I don't get notified when YouTube videos get comments on the Dice Tower Network because I don't own the channel. So if you want to interact with me directly, I'll see you at my Facebook page.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.